Hello, my name's Amy and welcome to this weekend vlog. Now, for the first time in absolutely ages, I do not have to work on either Saturday or Sunday, so this feels like the perfect opportunity to get my life together. It's been a really busy week, and looking at my bullet journal, there is a lot I have not ticked off this week. So today is Friday, it's about 8:30 in the morning, and my work schedule is a little bit different this week, as I said, so I don't particularly have to work now until Tuesday, and that is a real rarity. So let's have a look at everything I want to get done between now and then. The bullet journal is out, let's go through it. Now, first of all, I have some paperwork to do. Not particularly sexy, but it needs doing, and I have been putting this off for months. So now would be the time to get it done, get it sent off to my accountant, and then I don't have to worry about it again. I also have some book admin to do, some marketing work. I want to tweak the autoresponder for my email newsletter. I also want to tweak the back matter of my last book. These are pretty little things, shouldn't take too long, but again, I have been putting them off for far too long. I also have this week's vlog to finish. That is actually uploaded. I just need to make the thumbnail and write the description, and that is all good to go. I also need to finish my serial fiction for Chronicles of Tyria and get that uploaded. I started writing it last week, but as usual, it has crept closer and closer to the deadline and I have not finished it. So I've probably got about 1,000 words of that to write, that I need to edit it and upload it by Sunday evening. And of course, I am still editing The Goldstone Tower. This is the fantasy novel that will be my next release. I am hoping for July and probably more likely looking at the second half of August at this point. I have done about half my weekly editing so far, so I am a bit behind on that too. I would love to get another couple of hours in over the weekend, and that would get me back on track. I've also got loads of books to read from the library. I'm currently reading The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. So far I'm enjoying it and I think the writing is really strong, but it's a long time since I've read a book that is so incredibly slow. And the last couple of things are, if possible, I would like to go to the opticians to pick up my new sunglasses. It's quite a long way to our optician, so I don't know if we'll get time for that. It is on the to-do list. And of course, I would like to just get outside and go for some walks, actually enjoy the weekend for once, seeing as I don't have to work. Well, I say that, I do have to work this morning. I've probably got a couple of hours of work to do in our Airbnb, so we'll get that wrapped up as quickly as possible. We're also waiting for a delivery today. We'll see if that arrives. And already I realise I have made this weekend sound absolutely jam-packed. It's true, there is quite a lot to get through. So come along with me and let's see if I can get my life together. It's just after 3 o'clock and I have honestly had such a lazy day. We finished work this morning at probably about 11, 11:15, something like that. So the house is all ready for today's guests. And then honestly, I have not done very much. We had an early and very leisurely lunch. I have read a bit. I've picked up Mage's Blood by David Hare again. Now, I mentioned this in vlogs many weeks ago. I was reading the paperback, but it was a huge book and I never quite knew where to put it in the caravan, so I've switched over to the ebook and picked that back up again. I have also done a little bit of writing. I've written about 700 words of my Chronicles of Tyria serial fiction. I'm actually pleased with that. I didn't realise I'd written so much until I looked at the word count just now. So I think it's probably only going to be another 300 or 400 words to finish that chapter, so I will do that today or tomorrow. Now, I said I was going to edit more of The Goldstone Tower this weekend, and I'm starting to doubt that plan. I should be doing it, definitely, because I have set deadlines for myself on this book, and if I don't work on it consistently, I am going to fly past them. But at the same time, I have been working really hard on this book over the last month or so, and several months before that when it comes to the drafting, and honestly I could just do with the break. So I might take at least 1 or 2 days off and work on some other stories. There are lots of ideas simmering in the background and I'm hopefully going to be making a video about that soon. So it would be quite fun to work on something else for a few days. We did also get that delivery that I mentioned earlier. I can't do an unboxing for you because it didn't come in a box, but I will show you. So that's the delivery, which is several hundred concrete blocks. Very exciting. And now I think my lazy afternoon is going to continue. My daughter will be home from school soon. I will have to cook at some point, but I'm really enjoying just picking up a book and breezing through that. And then we will see if I can write something else tonight. Good morning. It is Monday. I have just got out of the shower and I kind of feel like I am continuing my weekend today because our work schedule is a bit different this week. I don't have to work in-house today, and that means everything is just a little bit jumbled compared to how it would normally be on a Monday morning. Now, I didn't film a huge amount over the weekend. You will have seen a few clips of some things we got up to. We did go for a really nice walk. We also had some fairly major thunderstorms. I did tick off a few things on my to-do list over the weekend. I picked up my sunglasses, and whilst doing that we also went to the park. That was really nice. That was how we spent most of our Saturday. I also did some of my accounts paperwork. I still have a bit of work to do on that, but I did tick off the major item on the to-do list that I wanted to do over the weekend. And I also finished and uploaded my Chronicles of Tyria chapter. And I was actually a little bit early with that this week, so that was great. In terms of reading, I have given up on The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. I've read about a third of it and it's just not grabbing me. I did not particularly like the main character. I found her very bland and a bit of a pushover. She was kind of drifting through the story rather than taking matters into her own hands. That's fine for the very opening of a story, but it was just going on too long for my liking. So I have instead picked up something completely different, which is The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. Now, I'm not sure what to make of this one. It has been very highly praised. It's had a lot of starred reviews and a lot of blurbs from big name authors. I've only read the first chapter so far, and I won't say it's won me over just yet. The writing is strong, but I don't like any of the characters. It introduces you to a lot in the first chapter and I pretty much hated all of them, even the main point of view character. It was also weird in a pretty disgusting way. It was just full of really unpleasant details. Now, I'm not a big horror reader. I don't particularly like reading about gore. It's just not really for me. So if this tone continues through the start of the book, this is probably not going to be for me either, but it does sound really interesting, so I want to give it a go. Now, in terms of writing, I did not do very much over the weekend. I said I was going to spend a couple of hours editing the Goldstone Tower and I just didn't look at it at all. I decided I really needed a weekend off because I was feeling pretty burnt out on the editing process and I wanted to come back to it fresh today. I did, however, spend some time doing some planning and brainstorming and world building for an epic fantasy that I'm working on. You will be hearing more about this in coming vlogs, or I might do a video all about it. But for now, that's just something I'm spending an hour on here and there. So of course, now the new week begins, even if it does still feel a bit like a weekend. The first thing I need to do is set up my bullet journal for the week. I usually do this on a Sunday evening, but I completely forgot last night. So that is going to be the first activity of the day. I am hoping to get loads of editing in today and finish up some paperwork and maybe do some gardening. Some of that is going to be weather dependent, and if I get roped into any unexpected work on the barn, say, that will of course curtail other activities. Let's see how it goes. Bullet journal first. This is a very quick overview of how my bullet journal is looking these days. If you've seen my video on a minimal bullet journal that I use to track my writing progress, things have not changed a lot since then. On the left hand side, we've got a few general to-do items. The expenses and accounts paperwork were on there last week. Then I track my reading on this side. Marketing is looking a bit sparse at the moment because I'm just not really in marketing mode, and I also, as you can see, did not complete either of those tasks last week. The big two sections are on this side. Writing is over here. These were the boxes for my Chronicles of Tyria chapter, which I definitely did do. This was editing the Goldstone Tower, and I really only got halfway through the boxes that I wanted to tick off last week. That was probably my worst week of editing that I've had since I started this process, so I'm hoping to pick things up this week. I did a little bit of drafting on a couple of different projects, and then I did all my YouTube tasks last week. So this week's bullet journal spread will be the same format. I've used this for months and months and it's working really well for me. So let's set that up now. Got no Chronicles of Tyria posts to do this week, so the focus is all going to be on the Goldstone Tower. And I will be hoping to do around 300 minutes on it this week. And for YouTube, my only real goal is to finish this vlog and get it uploaded. So my to-do list is looking pretty sparse at this point in the week, but that is no bad thing. I know that the editing, the 5 hours a week, will take most of my free work time this week. The rest will get taken up by YouTube, and there will be other tasks that get written in as the week goes on. There'll be some marketing tasks that crop up, I am sure, and I usually end up adding in some other stories when I start drafting them. So whilst it does look pretty empty, that is actually quite a sensible level of work for me to have on the spread this week. And let's see how much I can get done. I was not expecting it to rain this morning. Look at those blue skies. And yet somehow it is still raining. It is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I've soon got to be setting off for the dentist, so that is my quiet weekend coming to an end. It has been really nice to just spend a day at home not doing very much. I've had no work to contend with, so I've done some editing of the Goldstone Tower. That is shaping up really nicely. I am well into the second half now. The chapters in the second half are a little bit shorter as well, so I feel like I'm going to fly through quite a lot of this book now. I know I do need to reorder some of the chapters in the second half. That is going to be the biggest job left to do. Everything else at this stage is largely details, because I think by the time I'd got into drafting the second half of the book, I had a pretty firm handle on where the story was going. The other thing I have done today is finally finished my paperwork. That is long overdue, and I'm glad that is out of the way. And other than that, I've just been taking it pretty easy. I did not manage any gardening. I have not read anything. I did watch an episode of Andor over lunch. I cannot tell you the last time I watched TV while eating. It is not something that really takes place in my life anymore. And I feel like I'm ending this long weekend by being very much back on track. There are definitely things I did not do that I had planned to, but my videos are on track. My editing is on track, I have done paperwork, and I have even run errands. So I'm very pleased with that. I have lots more writing vlogs coming up. I would love to do one about trying out the snowflake method of outlining. I think that's something I'm going to be trying next week. And I also have lots of big novel ideas in the works. I am potentially shaking up my publishing schedule next year, so you will be hearing all about that as I make decisions over the next couple of weeks. So until then, keep writing everyone, and I'll see you next time.